Hi, happy Monday money date. I am excited to talk about or to just do this Monday money date today because this is the second day in our new format, which is going through all of the different cycles of closing the books. Last week was all about the reconciliations and getting all of that taken care of. And today is going to be identifying slow paying customers if you extend terms or any customers who are on payment plans. So we're going to go through that after we go ahead and take care of our daily bookkeeping tasks. We're going to then go through and look through our AR for any potential slow pays or people that you might know that need extra nudges leading up to their payment date. So if you're new here, my name is Sarah Hanford, and I am the head bookkeeper here at Be Social Solutions, where we do operational bookkeeping. Bookkeeping, all the admin stuff to get your books accurate is just part of operational bookkeeping and bookkeeping in general. We go beyond once your books are accurate. We go beyond that and we look at what are your trends, what are your goals, what do we have to do to plan to get you to be able to hire in the time that you want to hire, buy a new truck, get a new building. All of those things is what we do once your books are accurate. So that's just the first part. And this series of Monday Money Date is helping you get there on your own, just body doubling with me if you're not at the point in hiring Be Social Solutions to do it for you. So today we're body doubling and we are going to go through, make sure all of our transactions are right and together within our systems. And then we're going to look at our AR. Enough talking, let's get going. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my QuickBooks and I'm going to be quiet for about 5 minutes and then I'll come back on, and that's how we'll do it. You do yours, I do mine, and hopefully at the end of 30 minutes, you are one step closer to accurate books. All right. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. If it's just specific or general questions, if it's general questions, specific questions, I'll put a link in the chat so that way you can sign up for an SOS call where I can look at your specific situation and give you guidance based off of your specific questions. Let me put that in here. Doing that now. And then if you are not sure where you are or what help you need, I am going to put the link to my quiz in the chat as well. All right, now it's time for me to be quiet and let's get working. Okay, so about 5 minutes has passed, at least since the start of the live. And just a reminder, if you're new here, this is body doubling, where I work on my bookkeeping, you work on your bookkeeping, and we focus on one of the bookkeeping tasks every week. So that way, if you're not able to complete it on this Monday money date, you know to complete it later on in the month before the next month end close happens. So last week we did all of our bank reconciliations. You have to reconcile your bank accounts if you want to ever have accurate books. And today we're going to be looking through our accounts receivable to see if there are any slow pay customers. Whether you extend payment terms, or if you know someone is pushes off sending you that payment through Zelle or whatever you use. This is the time where you go and you figure out, how am I going to be proactive about collecting this money? So, sorry, my son, my oldest, texted me. Had to make sure it wasn't an emergency. So that is what we are doing today. I've gone through, I do this every Monday. And so it does not take me long to categorize the transactions for my bank accounts and my credit card. Not long at all. I'm already done. I had 13 transactions to categorize today. And once you set it up correctly, it's really easy. I just categorized all of my transactions. So we are not even 10 minutes into this live, and I'm already ready to move on to the next step. So my next step is going to be pulling up my AR aging, because if you're going to identify slow paying customers, you have to look at your AR. What is open? AR stands for accounts receivable. And you got to look at what is open in order to determine what action you need to take and whether or not you need that money sooner rather than later to meet your own goals. So whether that's extending a early pay discount to a customer because you know you're not going to get your money any sooner than the absolute due date from specific customers. It's just different strategies that you can use when you're looking at your AR to see, is this going to get me where I need to be? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at my accounts receivables and to see where I need to be. Almost all of my customers are on auto pay at the beginning of the month. I have a few that I work on for cleanups where we work on things project basis, 50% upfront, 50% upon completion. So I don't necessarily have receivables where I know I'm going to be short because a customer decides not pay me. It's just a matter of planning. And if I want to say, hey, if you pay me now, I'll finish this up early and I'll knock off X amount just so I can know that my cash flow is going to work in my benefit. So I'm going to stop talking now and let's get moving on the next task. If you're still working on your transactions, that is totally fine. Keep working on what you need to work on, and you can come back to these different topics at a later date. Okay. Gotta love the summertime when the kids are home and you're trying to get actual work done. We've got, they keep sending me messages or announcements on the Alexa, so that way it doesn't, if I say it and you have one around, it doesn't trigger it. Gotta love it. Okay. So, for those of you just joining, this is a body doubling where we get our bookkeeping done. And each week we cover one of the topics for closing out your month within your QuickBooks or Xero or your spreadsheet or Wave, whatever you're using. And last week we focused on reconciling your bank accounts. And today we're focusing on looking at your receivables and identifying potential cash flow issues because of slow paying customers. I've already gone through my receivables and I've identified two projects with one on the back burner for not cash flow issues, but reaching out to them and saying, hey, if we can move this due date up, I can get it done by X day. And if you pay now, I'll give you a 10% discount. So that way, number one, it opens up my calendar for a couple of other projects. I know that can be in my pipeline from people who have reached out, and also work better with some of the days that my kids have off. And also for one personal thing that I have in September, I signed up for a triathlon. So I'm trying to work things with my upcoming schedule. So if you extend terms to your customers, 30 days, 45 days, 10 days, and you know some customers are always paying late, it's good to go ahead and identify those so that way you can be proactive in your collection process. Or, like me, for your cash flow strategies or for your own personal life, or both, just making sure you can fit things in and still deliver the best customer experience for your clients. So those are who I've identified, and I'm going to go ahead and craft a letter to them. And this way, if they're able to, if they agree and they pay me early and they're able to pay me early, I'll be able to also take advantage of two more discounts with some of my payables. And that'll save me $200, which it's $200, but it's also $200 back into my pocket or back into my business, wherever I decide for it to go. So that's part of the advantage of, number one, staying on top of your bookkeeping, and number two, knowing your payable, knowing your receivables, and putting forth some of these strategies to help you increase your cash flow, making sure your business is not becoming a job where you can work your business around your life and not constantly be working your life into your business. Sorry, I'm listening to, I'm listening downstairs as well to the kiddos. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop talking again, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my attention to crafting those emails. And this is where I would also utilize AI a little bit. Go ahead and type out what I want to say, have it, refine it, go back and pass through probably about a good 4 or 5 times until I'm happy, and then send it. So if you hear me typing a lot, that is what I'm doing. Let me know what you actually are working on right now in the comments. So I'm going to go quiet for a little bit, and this is where, for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll pop back on. Where did that go? Oops. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right, so I am coming up on the end of collaborating, for the lack of a better term, with ChatGPT on this. And I just put my numbers into my cash flow spreadsheet. So that way I can make sure that what I'm offering with the discounts to my clients to pay early, if we can get this wrapped up, if that works for their schedule and my schedule, what that would look like, if those discounts will hurt me in any way. And it doesn't look like it will. I mean, I'm sure I might feel a little bit of a pinch, probably November-ish, but it's not that huge. It's like a $300 pinch, which I can make up down the road. And I can also then have take advantage of the more early pay discounts that some of my vendors offer. So it'll all work out in the end. And it also gives me the opportunity. That's right. It also gives me the opportunity to pick up on two other items in my pipeline that I wasn't going to be able to take on because of the calendar, the projected project that we had, and it's actually going faster. So that's where I am able to make these operational decisions because I'm on top of my books and I'm also looking at the future and not just looking at the history, which is where my company shines, where we don't just look at the historical transactions, we plan for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit send on these emails, and I'm going to go ahead and look at my financial statements like I always do every week. I look at my P&L, I look at my balance sheet, I look at my statement of cash flows, and I also look at my cash flow projections. I look at my receivables, but I already did that, so I don't need to do that today. So I'm going to be quiet for the next 6 minutes and look at those reports. Okay. So I just made a few notes in my P&L. That's why I was typing. Oh, my battery's almost dead. Just notes and documenting variances and why there were variances with some of these expenses, just so I don't have to recreate the wheel. That's where my 18 years in corporate accounting experience comes into play. Documentation and structured documentation. So that way you are not left second guessing. Shows that credit card payment coming out. Did the bank feed disconnect? This is where QuickBooks frustrates me. For some reason, I am always losing connections. It showed that I had that, but I know that my balance was just paid. Why is it not reflecting that? Well, not just paid, it was paid last week. Yeah, so why is it still showing? I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into that. So the problem that I just realized is that my credit card balance on my bank transactions reflects the previous balance plus the current posted balance, if that makes sense. So it never, even though I put the payment in the correct month, the balance for the card, and I don't have any outstanding transactions, the balance for the card is a sum, not the difference. And this is why weekly bookkeeping is important. Not to like harp that in, but anywho, so that is our weekly Monday money date. I keep it at 30 minutes. If you need to keep going, keep going. If not, come back to this video throughout the week just so you have someone who is doing the bookkeeping with you. And when I need to do this, if it's extra time on my hands where I know I need to focus on a problem for a client, I'll just put the link to the video in my calendar event where I'm blocking off the time to handle this one particular issue. So that way I have myself body doubling with me, because with my ADHD, that really, really helps me to have body doubling there. But thank you for joining me on this Monday Money Date or watching this replay on the Monday Money Date. If you're catching the replay, if you have any questions, please drop it in the comments or click the link and book an SOS call. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.